Welcome to AlphaCars and Ural of New England. Today we have two very exciting Urals we're going to take a look at. The one on the left here is a new 2024 gear up, and this is in terracotta and gray metallic. And the one on the right is also a new gear up. This is a 2023 model in bronze satin. So we'll get to see a good comparison of the two colors. And this one on the left does have a few factory options that we ordered it with, but it doesn't have any accessories on it. It is pretty much the base bike. And of course, this one on the right is accessorized. We put quite a few awesome accessories on it, a lot of these being kits we've developed here at AlphaCars and Ural of New England. And we also sell all these accessories on our e-store, so keep that in mind. That'll be linked in the video and description. So in this video, we'll get to take a look at both and learn all about them, including some of the specs, standout features, all of the neat accessories on the bronze one, and we'll even get to witness a cold start and learn how to operate these really cool sidecar rigs. So if you're new to the channel, welcome to AlphaCars. We share daily motoring content on exciting things like these Ural gear ups, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. But now, let's dive in to these Urals. First, we'll start out with a little color comparison. So I really like both of these colors. This is the terracotta and gray metallic. It has such a nice glossy shine to it, and there is that kind of metallic flake in the paint as well, especially when the sun comes out, and the two-tone, it just really looks awesome. Many of our customers really like the terracotta and gray bikes. These usually sell very fast. And then taking a look at the bronze satin, so this has a satin finish. So we can see there the difference, how it has that kind of flat finish if we go between them. This one you could probably do your hair in. You can see the reflection of the building. And then this one really absorbs all that light, doesn't really reflect any light. Really a cool finish, especially in this bronze color. It's really a head turner. Both these bikes are a head turner. But, you know, especially this bronze satin, it's really an unusual finish in a good way, of course, that I really think it complements the rest of the bike, because the rest of the bike has all these really nice gloss black accents and accessories on it. Now let's start on the left on this 2024 gear up. So I will mention there's really no difference between the 2023 and 2024 gear up. There's really no changes. So I just want to get that out of the way. And Ural did make a lot of nice changes in 2022, starting in 2022. So if you really want to learn about all those, just go to Ural's website. They have a whole breakdown of it. But I will mention a couple of the things in this video when I go over the bikes. So as I said, starting on this 2024, this is really as the gear up comes, and we did order it with some factory installed options. So let's talk about those. First, we have a powder coated drivetrain. So the engine is powder coated in black. And what's cool about how they do it is they do all the parts separately before they're assembled. So we can see the gaskets and everything, all the gasket material. There's no like overspray or maybe them assembling something partly and then, you know, painting it, having it powder coated. All the parts are done individually after they're manufactured, and then it's assembled. So it's really a proper job, and it's a really beautiful finish. And these powder coated drivetrains, they look awesome, and they really hold up against corrosion as well, compared to like the untreated metal. The next factory installed option is in undercoating. So if we check out the underside of this fender, see how it's textured? It almost looks like a bed liner. You can think of it almost as a bed liner material in effect. So the chip guard is applied on the underside of the front fender, the bike's rear fender, the sidecar fender, it's under there, and it's on the underside of the sidecar tub and inside the sidecar tub. So if we take a look at this textured surface, we can see the kind of line where it stops. So we have the normal paint finish and then the textured finish there. So this is really applied in a proper manner from the factory when the parts are new, and it's applied before the paint, of course. And what this does is really help with rock chips and preventing corrosion, because you think of rock chips on maybe your car's hood, a rock flies up, hits the paint, and the paint is just on the metal. There's no flex in that. The paint has nowhere to go. It just flakes off. With these, with the chip guard, it adds flex to the paint. So what that means is a rock or debris flies up and hits it, the paint's gonna flex, it's not gonna flake off. It really does an awesome job in preventing those things. And just giving you a look under the sidecar tub, it's applied throughout the whole thing. And I'll look in our bronze one, you can see the textured finish in the whole sidecar tub. It's also underneath the floor mat, and it's in the trunk, and we will take a look in the trunk as well. But just to mention, it's really awesome, and we actually have a lot of customers that bring us their older Urals that didn't come with this chip guard, and we actually will refinish them and apply the chip guard here at AlphaCars and Ural of New England. Now the next factory installed option is the fuel tank storage compartment. These are awesome. They have a nice like sealing gasket here, and we can even see how nice the paint finishes on the inside. Ural does an awesome job on the paint finishes and their paint work. So this is perfect for like your phone, maybe wallet, keys. It is lockable. I unlocked it for the video, so I don't have to get the key, but it has its own key, so that's really helpful there. This isn't technically waterproof, but I would say it's very weather tight because it has this thick sealing gasket, and then the corners, or the edges rather, of the cover, they do go over, so anything's gonna drip over and not inside. And for a reference of size, if you're wondering, I have a Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. It's a pretty big phone, a physically big phone, and we can see there's actually room for it to slide up and down a little bit. So I would say most modern big phones that are almost tablet-like, they will fit in there. So I like how Ural thought of that with making that really an adequate size, and it's a convenient place to store those things you might need to get to in a pinch. So these driving lights are they come from the factory. They're standard on these bikes, but what is not standard is the wiring harness being run through the front bumper. So I wanted to mention this. From the factory, the harness, the wiring for these lights is zip tied to the outside of this bumper, and then it goes up into the sidecar here where the fuse panel is. So what we like to do at AlphaCars, because we really have a passion for perfection here, we drill the underside of the bumper, put a rubber grommet there, touch up paint to make sure no rust forms or anything, and we even use a nice corrugated plastic surround for extra protection. We can see the wiring's neat behind there, and it looks awesome. And we run this harness through the bumper and then out of the back cap here, and then into the sidecar. So we love how it looks when we do this. It also prevents that wiring harness from getting snagged on things, maybe off-road if you're riding through brush. And also, obviously, too, it keeps it out of the sun's UV rays and the elements. It's really just less to be out there kind of wearing in the weather. So we always do that on our gear ups, and I think it looks really, really nice. Of course, the same has been done to the bronze one there. Let me cover a little bit now about that drivetrain, about what kind of a Ural sidecar motorcycle is. Well, this is powered by a 750cc flat two-cylinder. So it's a boxer engine or horizontally opposed two-cylinder, whatever you may want to call it. And it actually has a dry clutch. So it's a 4-speed gearbox, and the fluids are separate from the engine, just like your car. So it has a dry clutch, it's a twin plate, and the clutch action it's firm but very direct, and it's really not too tiring, especially if you only use 2 fingers on the levers like me when I ride. It's a nice, like I said, firm pull, but that twin plate clutch gives you a ton of clamping force, and especially when you have all the torque that this boxer engine produces with having the sidecar loaded down to the passenger and gear, you really need all that clamping force, and that's what that twin plate gives you. Commonly, you may know that the twin plate clutches are used in performance application, like in cars, because it keeps the pressure required the same. Like, it'll keep the clutch pedal pretty light, but gives you a ton more clamping force, and that's what these Urals have there. So really overbuilt. I really like that feature. They're nice to ride. And the gearbox is 4 forward gears, and it has a mechanical reverse gear. So you use this lever here. It's a heel toe lever. So you kick down right here, whether you're in first gear with the clutch in or in neutral with the clutch in, and that pops it in reverse. And it's a mechanical reverse gear. It's not maybe a little electric motor that assists it or something, you can go as long as you want in reverse, just like if you put your car in reverse. So especially if you're in adverse terrain where you maybe have to use that in an off-road situation, that's very helpful. And then the rear brake is right here. It has this trick linkage because the Sidecar actually has its own hydraulic circuit. So we have the fluid reservoir here and the master cylinders behind this very nice guard to keep that away from damage. And then there's a heel toe shifter for those 4 forward gears right here. And there is a kickstart as a backup. Just to mention, more on those brakes. These Urals have insane Brembo brakes. The stopping power is really so impressive for kind of an off-road style bike. So we have a massive 4-piston Brembo caliper on the front, floating rotor design, and it is a drilled rotor, and that's the same for all around. So we have a nice single piston caliper on the rear with that same floating rotor, drilled rotor, and the Sidecar has the single piston caliper there, still Brembo, and then the drilled rotor and the floating design. So even if you get some heat in them, it's still gonna brake nice and smooth. And it's, like I said, if you get these out on the road and you really lay into those brakes, it is really impressive how quick you can come to a stop, especially having the 3 wheels on the ground. And speaking of the 3 wheels on the ground, you might be wondering, well, can I just ride it as a motorcycle? Can I take the Sidecar off? Technically speaking, physically, it is possible, but it's highly not recommended. The Ural is designed to have the Sidecar on it and handle with the Sidecar. The design of the front suspension, the whole bike's frame geometry, suspension geometry, it's not designed to remove the Sidecar. It'd be very unsafe to try to ride it as a normal motorcycle. And we can see the joints here that help join the Sidecar. They are adjustable because the bikes, when we assemble them, they actually get they have to be aligned, just like your car gets an alignment to make them handle properly and the tire wear to be proper. So very heavy duty there. It's a very stiff chassis, really minimal flex there. And they are 2-wheel drive. So this lever, hand lever here, this actuates a lever on the final drive, and then this locks the final drive, and then you've got a locked differential with power going to your Sidecar wheel. This was one of the changes, this drive shaft, I should specify, was one of the changes in 2022. Now it's a CV shaft. We can see there's really no maintenance to do other than checking the boots. So just like your car has, you know, nice CV joint there, nice smooth operation, and nothing to like grease or any U-joints to wear in the elements. So this was like a U-joint. This did have 2 U-joints before. This was one of the changes. Really awesome change. And then the whole bike is shaft driven. So if I look in here, we can see the shaft drive from the back of the gearbox into the final drive there. So really direct, smooth experience, very mechanical feeling when you ride these. It's really, really quite a pleasure to ride. And now let me get on to the tonneau cover. So I left the tonneau cover on the left bike. I'm sure it might be bugging you that one bike has the cover, one bike doesn't. I know it's bugging me, but I thought it'd be a good comparison to see how the cover does cover the Sidecar compartment. Does it very nicely. Those little kind of cutouts here in case you have accessories on it. So those cutouts would go around your Sidecar windscreen like this one has, which we will get into that. But we can see this tonneau cover was actually rolled up on this one, kind of like a knee bar sort of thing. So there's many different kind of trick ways to store these and roll them up and use them. And we actually have a specific video on that. So check that out. It'll be linked in the description and in the video right now if you want to learn some tips and tricks on that tonneau cover. But I thought it'd be interesting to see that the bike, it does look really nice with it and also looks awesome without it, because you can really see in that Sidecar where things are very exciting. So I think the last thing, or one of the last things we're going to take a look at on the orange bike is the trunk. So we can see it has that kind of bed liner chip guard inside the trunk here. And let's talk about what we have in the trunk. So we have an owner's manual. This owner's manual is crazy. This has tons of like service breakdowns, exploded parts and wiring views. You can pretty much do any servicing or fixing on the bike with that manual. It's much more than just a user manual. And then we have, which is kind of hard to pick up, we have the Ural toolkit. This is not just a pouch you might get on another motorcycle. that just has a couple screwdrivers in it. This thing is crazy. It's a rollout tool pouch. And like I said, with these two items, you can do like any servicing on this machine. It's really awesome, all the stuff they include with it. And then we do have a touch-up paint that's included, all three colors. So the gray, the orange, and the black of the kind of accent accessories on it, or like the frame color. And so that's just a really nice touch to see. And I love the mats. They give you a nice rubber mat for the trunk, and there's one in the normal sidecar area for the passenger, as I showed you. And just getting a nice look in the trunk there. Super spacious. And even look at the gloss and how nice the paint finish is on the inside of the lid. All the stainless steel hardware. Nice heavy-duty latch system there. Really just over-engineered. Even look at how thick this kind of latch mechanism is, and it is lockable, so you can, you know, lock your goodies in there. And then, of course, the foldable shovel or expanding shovel and the jerry can are included as standard with the Ural. Let me just walk you through a couple nice notable touches of quality on the Ural. Check out the welds on the exhaust can. They're really like a work of art, if I get the camera to focus here. Even the heat shields are really nice. We can see the stainless steel hardware, nice Allen hardware. Look at the exhaust hanger, the thick rubber dampeners. Like, look at how thick of gauge that aluminum hanger is. It's really just over-engineered, overbuilt. It's really quite awesome to see. Let me go over the controls and give this one a cold start, and then we'll kind of finish up the video going over the bronze one and all the cool accessories that one has. So starting out, let's turn our key on. I can hear the fuel pump prime. These are fuel injected. So we can see the two throttle bodies there. And now we have the clutch, really all normal motorcycle controls you're used to. So we have our clutch, the low beam's always on. This is flash to pass. That's the high beam to set that on permanently or until you turn it off. We have the blinker switch there, not self-canceling, by the way, make sure to cancel that. We have the horn, and then we have the parking brake. This parking brake is awesome. It locks this rear mechanism on the bike. And this is all aluminum construction. It's like a very mechanical, heavy-duty thing to use. It's pretty awesome. This switch, waterproof switch, is for those driving lights. And then, of course, like with any other motorcycle, we have our throttle, our front brake there, our run and kill switch, and then our start switch there. So now let's bump our starter. I can even turn on our driving lights here as the Ural is warming up. You can hear it's running nice and smooth. Those driving lights look awesome. And that's just it. With the fuel injection, you know, no matter what elevation or maybe fuel quality at the time, you know, you're riding in, it's gonna run sweet every time. There's no tinkering with chokes or synchronizing two carburetors and just maintaining two carburetors as well. With the fuel injected bikes, you can just put some, you know, fuel treatment when you store it, and then really it should be good to go when you fire it up when the season starts again. So just wanted to point that out on the Ural there. And I believe that's pretty much it now on this terracotta and gray. So let's check out the bronze Ural now. Let's start in the kind of sidecar area, because I didn't get to show you in there on the other bike. And we have nice contoured seat, super comfortable. And once again, the floor mat in there. And then if I get the camera way in here, there is a fuse panel right here we can see, and there is a open circuit right there, that switch. So, and there's multiple circuits to add as well. So if you want to accessorize the bike, add lighting circuits, and you want them to be operated from in there, you can do so. We even have a neat accessory for these. It's a sidecar dashboard that mounts kind of in here as a dashboard would. And if you want to put like chargers in there or switches for, even we have options to add like a Ural heated seat for the sidecar passenger, you can add all those circuitry there, and it's all contained inside the sidecar. So pretty awesome there. Now accessories. Let's talk about the accessories. I'll start on the sidecar and kind of work my way around the bike. We have the sidecar smoked windscreen, and the apron, which is this piece here, does match the tonneau cover. These come in different materials, so you can match your tonneau cover. And this is the short windscreen. We can see it's not super tall, so it's not super, I guess, intrusive, you could say, of maybe visibility or looking around, but it does deflect like all the wind off your passenger, so that works really good there. We have the Sidecar LED fender light, and I will turn on the lights on. This bike has a lot of auxiliary lighting. When I turn on the ignition, when we get to the handlebar area, I guess you could say, I'll turn on all the lights for us to take a look at there. Sidecar rear bumper. This is the Ural NE rear bumper that we designed here. And we can see it mounts nice and securely using factory mounting there. I believe there's just like one of the mounting locations you do have to drill one hole, but it's very easy to do. And we can see it adds a ton of protection to the back of that sidecar tub. So if we go back over to the gray one here, especially like an off-road situation, maybe you're maneuvering around, it's nice just to have that extra protection. And if you want to load cargo on these, it's a nice point to have as a tie down as well. So now as we continue our journey to the main bike now, we've got some really nice shin guards on here. So these do an awesome job to keep down the cold wind and brush off your legs. So you can see there, just a very nice, affordable and easy to install accessory for the Urals. Now we see all these lighting goodies. So we have these auxiliary lights that mount to the side of the headlight mount, of course LED. We have the fork mounted LED lights. Once again, this is one of the kits we've made here. So we can see this custom billet piece that mounts to a factory location. So if we look in here, you wouldn't even know there's an accessory on there. It uses factory location, no drilling, and it's a plug and play harness. So really adds a ton of light. And the awesome thing about both of these kits is that they're attached to the steering. So if I steer the bike, all your lights go with you. So if you're turning into maybe a dark street or a dark area of the trail, it's gonna illuminate right where you're turning. So almost like the turning illumination on maybe a high-end car where the headlights are designed to kind of follow your steering, that does that automatically with these kits. It's pretty amazing. This bike has a full LED bulb kit, and actually the headlight housing is glass as well. It's an upgraded glass housing that has a better beam spread, because the factory housing over here, we can see it's a halogen bulb, and it's actually plastic housing. So this has that upgrade, and it has the headlight visor upgrade as well. Just adds an awesome classic look. It does really help with glare and like foggy conditions too, with keeping the light more concentrated. So I will turn on the ignition now, and we can see that nice LED bulb. The Sidecar fender light is wired with the ignition, so that's always on as kind of like a marker light. Adds a ton of nice light in the sides of the roads over here as well. We can see the running lights are on, and they are looking very nice, very bright with that LED bulb. And we have a couple of switches here that the other one didn't have. So let's turn those on. And one of them turns on our auxiliary lighting. So one of them is tied to these 4 auxiliary lights, and the other one is the Ural hazard flasher kit. So it's a pretty much plug and play harness that we designed here to add hazards to your Ural. So if you just want to be seen, if you're parked somewhere or you're in, unfortunately, like an emergency situation, then, you can have those on there. And let me turn those lights back on and join the factory driving lights. And this thing is just, you get this out at night, you're especially gonna be seen by others on the road, but also especially off the road. If you're using some of these auxiliary lighting, you're really gonna see every obstacle. And now, I almost forgot, I'm gonna talk about a very cool accessory. This bronze one actually has an air horn on it. So this is a kit, once again, we kind of designed here the mounting bracket and the wiring. And this bike has the bass horn there. You can see it's kind of a classic motorcycle style horn, as you would expect. So let's do a little comparison. So we have the bass horn on this one. I just turned on the ignition, and it's nothing to write home about. It is very ear piercing, but you want that on a motorcycle, but nothing to write home about. And let's activate the horn on this bronze one. This one's like you're at a train crossing. It's It's really quite amazing. Whoever is around you, if you need to alert someone you're there, they're really gonna know. It's really an awesome, not just novelty, it is cool, but it's also a really awesome safety feature to have that horn you know, on a vehicle like this that's maybe not as big as the other vehicles on the road. And this bike also has heated grips, and these are really cool. They have the controller, a multi-stage controller, and it's built into the grip right here. So there's no extra things on the bars. You just have your little button here, and they are very like kind of soft, grippy rubber. They are very nice to use. This bike also has the bullet parking brake. So these are really cool. We have a separate video just on this I made a little while ago. And what this does is lock the front hydraulic circuit. So what you do, it's kind of two-handed operation, but you would pull the front brake and then push this in, and that locks the pressure in the front caliper. So coupled with the rear parking brake, it's really gonna not allow the Ural to go anywhere really under any circumstance. I almost overlooked, this one does have the very nice Ural windscreen on it, and it is that same kind of smoked color as the Sidecar one. So especially with that kind of bronze satin, the black accents on the bike, I think it looks awesome with the two smoked windscreens. I think it carries the kind of color combo very, very nicely. And I will mention this bike was optioned from the factory with the same things as the gray and orange one, or terracotta and gray rather. It has the compartment in the fuel tank, the undercoating chip guard, as we can see here. And it has the powder coated drivetrain. And actually, let me give you a view under the bike quick. We can see that nice exhaust, 2-in-1 exhaust, and then the oil pan there with the nice cooling fins on it, as well as the kind of beautiful cooling fins on the cylinder jugs there. Now taking a look even at the exhaust, where it actually goes 2-in-1 right here. Like, look at the weld quality on that. It's quite amazing. I meant to show that on the other bike a little while ago in this video. So I think I've covered these two bikes pretty extensively. If you have any additional questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. I'll do my best to reply there. And we've really gotten to learn from this terracotta and gray really what a Ural is, learn about some of its specs and the equipment it has from the factory. And like I said, some of those factory installed options we order the bikes with. And then this one on the right, we got to explore a bunch of really cool accessories that we installed on it. Many of them, like I said, being our accessories, the accessory kits we've designed here. So like I said, give our URALNE.com store a look, and we can ship all these right to your door. We do ship worldwide as well. So we do have a showroom full of Urals. We always have an awesome selection. We can see some through the showroom glass there. So definitely check out our website, alphacars.com, if you want to see what other bikes we have in stock, and of course explore other videos. We try to do videos on most all the bikes, so you can really get familiar with whatever one you might be interested in, or if you're just wanting to learn more about them. So this has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough showroom. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe so then you don't miss out on the latest Ural content.